marketing and business administration. So let me allow to address and friendly manner. So the review panel is Deepal Suryarachi, Marikaria, Chandan Divikal Pitiya, Udara Dharma Vimala, Dharani Fernando, Nilmini Gunatilaka, Prashanti Chandrasena, and Sureka Alas. So accordingly, this book has been authored, edited, and reviewed in a highly academic and professional manner. Dear ladies and gentlemen, let's hands together to appreciate the great work done by So I observed several times in many places, he has extended his sincere thanks, gratitude to those, everyone who supported him in every aspect. So I found a few words in his own right. From the heart of the author, he says, I owe a debt of gratitude to those who worked alongside me, especially my wife Sureka Alas, who inspired and encouraged me from the day I came to know her. Proving that the saying, there is a good wife behind a good husband. And also, I'd like to say, there is intellectual best wife behind the intellectual Hensley. So I noted one special thing. The Hensley, when he checked the page, each pages, he has put a tick in red. Ratu party have a page එකම මේ check කරාට tick කරලා තියෙනවා. But only in red color. But only in one page, he has used a blue pen to. That is where Sureka's name appeared. Sureka's name then that is only the place where there are two ticks in single page. එකම පිටුවක දෙවතාවක් ටික් කරලා දෙන්නේ only the page in front of the name. And also, I observed he has written something in blue. That is also only in that page. මේ signature එකක් කොහෙද දැක්කේ? ඒනොට මොනවාට කුරුටු ගාලා වගේ තියෙනවා, so I cannot understand. That is only in that page. So I believe that indicates the love and affection to Sureka. And in this book, I observed a special note by the author under the copyright. This publication may be reproduced in whole or in part by way of any means, electronic, mechanical, photocopying, recording, scanning, or otherwise. However, any content cited or extracted by external sources must be appropriately acknowledged in accordance with the academic standards. So this is the first time I observed such a statement. Because indirectly has allowed to get copies of the photocopy. Normally, generally, the authors reserve the rights as this publication may not be reproduced. As mentioned, may be reproduced. And this publication may not be reproduced in whole or in part by way of means electronic, mechanical, photocopying, recording, scanning, or otherwise without prior approval of the author. That is how the other textbooks reserve their rights, but it does not reserve such a right. So I think no evidence needs to understand the humanity and integrity of ASD. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, so let's hands together again for his generous dedication and sacrifice and commitment for the betterment of the insurance industry and the insurance education in Sri Lanka. Thank you. So I move to the scope of the cover. The cover by single sentence. The scope of the cover of Insurance Masters has been summarized by the author in one sentence. So that is, I mentioned, is like a macro level snapshot. So it covers everything. So I like to do the same. A person or entity with an insurable interest in the subject matter of insurance, either directly or through an intermediary, with a financially sound and licensed insurer, entering into a legal contract of insurance which requires disclosure of all material facts known to them in order to receive the benefits or indemnity specified in the policy, arising from an event approximately caused as stated therein, subject to the policy's terms and conditions. So, starting from the concept of insurance until the settlement of the claims, everything is there. So we cannot find such a innovative summary in any book. So it covers almost all the areas in insurance with one single sentence. So the book has 15 chapters. 15 chapters starting from the chapter 1, Principles of Insurance, chapter 2, Legal Aspects of Insurance, and there are 9 chapters covering all the technical aspects of the insurance. I don't take much time to discuss those things, especially to cover the fire and property all risks, business interruption, general accident, engineering, insurance of bonds, liability insurance, marine cargo, motor, and life. So there are 9 chapters included in this book to cover those technical areas. And chapter 12, reinsurance, chapter 13, service marketing, chapter 14, insurance broking, and chapter 15, insurance claims and document and claims settlement procedure. So it covers almost all the area. So especially I would like to emphasize regarding the first two chapters, the principles of insurance. So starting from concept of risk and sources of risk until the arbitration and alternative dispute solutions, has included all the principles well orderly manner. The risk management process, including the risk analysis, risk evaluation and risk financing, risk management techniques, that is the risk avoidance, reduction, retention and transfer, yes, clearly explained. Insurance has a risk management mechanism, a risk matrix, the probability and severity of the risk, and the features of insurable risk, and the subject matter of insurance, practical applications of principles of insurance, including utmost good faith, insurable interest, indemnity, subrogation, proximate cause, everything. Special practical applications, especially including the calculation of the indemnity, subrogation, with sufficient examples. And also the contribution of average also, there are many calculations. Especially in case of the second chapter, the legal aspect of insurance. This chapter discusses the legality of insurance contract and other unique features of exclusive for insurance contracts. And it discusses how the legal framework of insurance developed up to now, especially, as you know, starting from the insurance controller introduced in 1986, according to my memory. Then Insurance Board of Sri Lanka in 2000 and 2017 Insurance Regulatory Commission Sri Lanka, and up to now, how the regulatory system supervision improved up to now. So they has clearly discussed all the legal framework developed up to now. And also requirement for the valid contracts, especially distinguishing features of contracts, especially for the beginners, this will be very much important, especially personal contracts, bilateral contracts, conditional contracts, contracts of utmost good faith, contracts of adhesion, valued and indemnity contracts, contracts of employee subrogation. All these forms of contracts he has clearly explained in this book. And duty of disclosure and the consequences of breach of duty, especially breach of warranty, misrepresentation and concealment. Everything properly discussed here. And also the conditions, exclusions, riders, endorsements and extensions, everything included in this book. And especially many important provisions, he has referred to the Insurance Act 2015 UK, and he has extracted many things relevant to Sri Lanka also. He has explained many things taking from the UK Insurance Act 2015. So the chapter 12, the reinsurance. I think that is one of the most interesting area. Even when I joined with Sri Lanka Insurance as a management trainee, I felt reinsurance as a rocket science. So, but even when I go through this book, so it is very easily can understand by even for the beginners. Yes, I use very simple language and included all the important topics in this chapter, starting from the introduction of the basis of reinsurance, reasons for reinsurance, principles of reinsurance, retrocession, alternatives of reinsurance, structure of reinsurance with the illustrations, elements of reinsurance, co-insurance and structure of co-insurance procedure, reinsurance arrangements, buyers, intermediaries and carriers or the sellers of reinsurance, retention by the selling company, forms and types of reinsurance, facultative treaty, both in proportional and non-proportional reinsurance arrangements, uses, advantages and disadvantages of each form of reinsurance arrangements, especially illustrations and example with calculations showing the structure of each type of reinsurance arrangement. Also, he has included the important terminology also at the end of this lesson. So that also will be so important for the readers. And also, for the time being, I do not talk about more regarding other chapters. For the time being, so there is a service marketing and insurance brokering and claims settlement procedure. Especially regarding the technical areas of all 9 technical areas. Insurance mastery discusses in details all the common classes of insurance, especially as he has clearly mentioned, especially in this book, he has explained the common classes of insurance. He has not included the marine hull and machinery and aviation insurance, because it is not common in Sri Lanka most probably. So he has not included those things. And insurance mastery discusses in details the basic cover, extension for additional periods, cover for extra charges, general exclusions, excess or deductibles as a percentage, as an amount or combination, franchise, monitor your time, and beyond the insurance obligation to pay full beyond the franchise limits, full amount. And also the limit of liability, especially when he's discussing about the limit of liability regarding both all the cases, especially in liability insurance, he has discussed the provisions under the common law. And also he has discussed the statutory laws also, and also insurance contracts. For example, when you are talking about the workman compensation insurance, he has mentioned that the negligence of the employer must be proved according to the common law, and it is not necessary under the Workman Compensation Act. And as we know, normally insurance covers the negligence. So that differences he has clearly discussed, even using the tables, graphs, and charts also. The most important thing is the illustrations. There are many illustrations for easy understanding, especially the tables, flow charts, and calculations. Especially for the tables, risk matrix showing probability and severity, and tables to compare the covers, exclusions, deductibles, very clear. And the flow charts, especially for the risk management process, and marine cargo insurance, since sellers, buyers, freight forwarders, ship owners, and sellers and buyers banks, many parties involved. So the flow charts indicating how these CIF, FOB, and CNF contracts applies using the flow charts, yes, clearly indicates. And freight forwarding process and reinsurance process, including claims handlement, everything using the flow charts also very clear flow, everyone can clearly understand. And also calculations, including the premium calculations and indemnity, subrogation, and everything very clearly mentioned using many examples. So this book, to whom this book is important, will be important. But the title says Insurance Mastery, important for the practitioners, but not only for the practitioners, even for the beginners, even for the university students. In our case, so I can remember, so let me to explain one of the experience. When I joined with Wyoming University, there was no even a single book in the library. Not only relevant to our country, even the foreign countries, there was no even a single book in our library even to prepare the syllabus. So I went to the Insurance Institute, and I got their support and collected some books and got some photocopies of the content pages to prepare the syllabus to introduce the new degree program. There was no such an important book, and we studied using the Indian and UK study backs and guidelines. So we taught the same for the students too. And at present too, there are only less than 5 books available in Sri Lanka published by our Sri Lankan authors up to now, according to my understanding. I think it's maybe correct, I may be correct. Less than 5 publications up to now, including this Insurance Master. So the writing this kind of book is not an easy task, because when we joined the insurance company, after many years, working with many companies who we retire, but no one ready to write any book. So I feel this is also like indigenous medicine or the Ayurvedic medicine. Then Ayurvedic medicine වලත් සෑහෙන කාලයක් තිස්සේ බෙහෙත් හොයලා පොටලා තම්බලා පෙරලා ගුලි ආඹරලා කල්ක හදලා පත්තු බැඳලා වෙද මහත්තයට අවුරුදු ගාණක් ආවතේව කරලා එයා වෙද මහත්තයෙක් කෙනෙකුට එයාගේ වයස පිරීලා. ඒතර එයාට ආයි පොතක් ලියන්න කාලයක් නෑ. The insurance sector also is according to my understanding similar. But I feel insurance is greater than that. In medicine, provide protection for the human body, but the insurance provide protection for the human life. So I think insurance is more broad area than sometimes the medicine. So the author, from his own words, he has mentioned, this book is the culmination of the years of learning, research and experience gained through working alongside experts and lecturing on the subject. It has been a long, hard work. So Dr. Jagatallis clearly mentioned the history, starting from 1982, joining as a trainee in NIC, and up to now, the qualification gained by Ainsley and experience in different institutes, including the public and private sector top level positions, and including the overseas. Especially, I learned that he has served as a business analyst in Singapore and Thailand, major insurance, two insurance companies, and also he was one of the consultant in the Asian Development Bank and also the World Bank, especially for the insurance-related subjects. So I do not like to mention all the qualification, repeat done by Dr. Jagatallis again. So I believe that this book reflects his extensive knowledge and broad experience in leading the insurance companies and brokering firms. On behalf of the academic community and also the insurance industry, I greatly appreciate your effort for taking actions to author this book and publishing the book for the general public. So I would like to conclude my session in reviewing this book, One Truth Shines True. Insurance is not a transaction, it is a tradition. In reviewing this book, one truth shines true. Insurance is not a transaction, it is a tradition. It is the art of turning uncertainty into the assurance, risk into the resilience, and promises into the protection. This book is an invaluable gift for the present and future generation. It is a mirror reflecting the past, a map guiding the present, and a torch lighting the future. As we are celebrating the launching of the book, The Insurance Mastery, I would like to quote a few words from Benjamin Franklin. An investment in knowledge pays best interest. This book is such an investment, so that will enrich our profession and empower our society. So ladies and gentlemen, I highly recommend this book to you with gratitude with pride and with a smile. So, dear Ensley, I wish you all the best and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor S.K. Gamage, for brilliantly dissecting with your immense knowledge, and we certainly appreciate it. I'm sure you can put your hands together and give him yet another round of applause. All right, so with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to invite the author. Unfortunately, there isn't much that I can say because Dr. Jagat Talvis has already stolen my limelight by saying so many brilliant things about our author today. So it's time to invite him and to address all of you. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the brilliant author of the book, Mr. Ainsley Jerome Alice.
Oh my God. Insurance builds resilience. Literature guides wisdom. Together, they empower the practitioner. Good evening, everyone. Our chief guest, Mrs. Damayanti Fernando, Director General of Insurance Board of Insurance Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka. Guest of honor, Professor S.K. Gamage, Dean of the Faculty of Business Studies and Finance, YMB University of Sri Lanka. Guest of honor, Mr. Nihar Senaratne, Chairman, Senata Insurance Brokers and Senata Global Services. Mrs. Subhani Ekagidratne was there, I suppose. Directors and Chief Executive Officers of insurance companies, Directors and Chief Executive Officers of insurance broking companies, Dr. Jagat Talvis, Chief Executive Director, Selinco Insurance PLC, and my dear fellow practitioners who reviewed the book. President and CEO of and Office Bearers of Sri Lanka Brokers Association, Vice President and Office Bearers of Sri Lanka Insurance Institute, distinguished guests, colleagues, relatives, friends. First of all, I'm sorry to note the absence of our chairman of the Insurance Board of Insurance Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka, who was indisposed at the last moment because he had some issues with the foot. So I wish him speedy recovery and quick back to work, I suppose. Grateful thanks to Dr. Jagat Talvis for his delightful journey down the memory lane. And I thank you for keeping all the private stuff to yourself. You miss few things, but anyway, it's great. Luckily, you missed the bonus thing also. I'm equally indebted to Professor Gamage for his thoughtful and thorough review of the book. In fact, he's one of the first people to look at this book, and I think he has read from cover to cover. And I apologized several times for putting him through this volume because it was too much of pages. And sentiments expressed by you and compliments I deeply appreciate, Professor, especially as it's coming from an academic standing as of you. I also thank Mrs. Damayanti Fernando for all the nice things she has told about me and the rundown on the insurance industry and its future. We had lovely working relationship in the past. I know some of you came for the book launch. Some may have come for the speeches. Some for the event. And I'm sure most of you all came for the refreshments. Don't worry, I won't take it personal. If the refreshments receive a better applause than me, I'm very happy. It's a grand occasion in my personal journey. It is the only time that an author can stand at the podium, look dignified, and still secretly think whether these guys who really buy the book will go beyond the first chapter. It is a deep humility and immense joy that I welcome each and every one of you this evening. I'm profoundly grateful for your presence, which adds honor and meaning to this occasion. To all my fellow professionals and all who have supported my journey, I extend my heartfelt thank you. This book takes from foundations to all the class of insurance, general insurance and life and reinsurance and so on and so forth. I think that many speakers have discussed that. One of the biggest questions that probably you all have in your mind, why this fellow wrote a book? Why on earth he had other things to do than this? I point a finger at Mr. Nihal Senaratne. I've been lecturing at few institutions for the last 40 years, institutions, associations, universities, public forums, insurance companies. So I had gathered a fair amount of volume of information and technical background. Then Mr. Nihal Senaratne, when he took me on board, he said, teach my people. I want you to share your knowledge with my staff. That was my first assignment. And then I started lecturing my staff. As the good old saying, charity begins at home, so therefore charity begins at home, so therefore I started lecturing my people, my staff. If my people talk about it, it took about 38 hours, and we have a small boardroom, so I had to break the group into two sets, and so 38 hours into 76 hours of lecturing I had done. And then I want to leave, before I move out, a handbook for my staff. Then I did something, I wrote all what I had taught my staff, into a handy booklet. And I told, since he's well versed in insurance and more experienced than me and much better English than me, I told Mr. Senaratne, why don't you review the book, the handbook, and see whether this is good for my staff, or your staff rather. After about a week or 10 days or fortnight, he comes back and says, Ainsley, this is very good. I think you're going to do injustice by giving only my staff. Why don't you publish this? That was the beginning of birth of this book. So if it's good or bad, you can blame him. Because it is totally because of him, his ardent spurring up, that I embarked on. My parents, of course, didn't know where I was going to write a book. I'm sure they will still, wherever they are watching, they will still be disbelieving that I wrote a book. They wouldn't believe. Sureka's mother also wouldn't know about a book, but her father knew that I was writing a book. And he was very much interested, as like Mr. Senaratne, spurring me up and asking, when is it coming out, when are you going to put it out, I'm waiting for that, and so on and so forth. I really miss him at this launch, Sureka's father, because I know how much he influenced me and gave me encouragement. He is no more with us. He left 9 months ago. So this book was born out of conviction and support and the encouragement given to me by Mrs. Senaratne as well as Sureka thereafter. After I mentioned that to her, that he told me to write a book and he was to publish it. She said, okay, good, I'll support. And I got that support. Writing it was not merely an academic exercise, but a personal mission to contribute to the development of the industry and professionalism. No book is the work of one person. I owe a debt of gratitude to mentors, colleagues, peers, and for their wisdom and encouragement. And to my wife, obviously, whose patience and sacrifice and support sustained me. I dedicate this achievement to her. She has been a tower of strength. I also thank the community of willing professionals who reviewed the book and provided me with valuable comments, ensuring the final product meets the expected standards. I owe a debt of gratitude to Dr. Jagat Alvis, Mr. Deepal Suryarachi, Mr. Manu Rajakarya, who happens to be Sureka's brother-in-law, Miss Darni Fernando, Mr. Chandana Digalpetia, Miss Udara Dharmavimala, Miss Prashanti Chandrasena, Miss Nilmini Guntilaka, Mrs. Sinani Karuranayaka, and finally my wife Sureka. Also, she go through a few chapters. I got a most gold in the review. The experts are printed on the back of the cover. That's the only honor I can give them. And I'm sure their contribution and their experts and their thoughts will live much more than them. The book went through professional editing by Miss Renuka Jayaraj, whom I had the pleasure of working at Union Insurance. I did during Mr. Rathikumara's time, I think she was included. Anyway, I suspect she has more than two eyes, given the details that she caught. So after all this editing by the professionals and Renuka, if you do happen to find some mistakes, please be kind enough to blame them. I know I take no part of that. I take this opportunity to extend my heartfelt thanks to Shamara for her ably marshalling the staff, ensuring that today's event carries that grandeur ceremony. I thank Tasni for her input in designing the content pages. Malika, who is here, who designed the IT related and who helped me with the IT related staff web page and so on and so forth. Yannick was also here for his creative designing of flyers, e-cards, all that kind of stuff, amongst his other busy schedules. Thank you, my dear colleagues at SIB and SGS. I thank Monali from BMICH for her attentiveness and the two beautiful ladies from the event management team, Shihara and Rizla. They say that, of course, Professor also mentioned, they say that there's a woman behind every successful man. But in my case, I had 5 women breathing down my neck. Sureka, Shemara, Renuka, and Shihara and Rizla. Thank you. All of you are pillars of strength. I thank the Master of Ceremony for a good job, Javid Bongzo, who is doing an excellent job. My fellow parishioner, Mr. Rohan Das, who is behind the camera and video. And my fellow parishioner, Mr. Suraj Devendra, owner of Anand Press, who did a fantastic job in getting the prints out on time and beautifully done. He personally supervised the final product. It is my sincere hope that this book will serve a bridge for our profession. I say this book is as much as yours as it is mine. They say writing a book is like raising a child. You nurture it, worry over it, and finally, you let it go into the world. This evening, I feel both proud and nervous because this book no longer belongs to me. It belongs to all of you. It is for this reason that I have not kept any copyrights, as Professor said. You can use any text as you wish. I hope this book be an investment to you all. As we launch this book, let us continue to elevate the profession, strengthen our industry, and serve society with integrity and vision. This gathering is graced by many distinguished professionals and experts, each equipped with wealth of knowledge in insurance, in risk management, loss adjusting, sales and marketing, branch administration, agency management, heading of reinsurance, managing insurance companies and related fields. All of you all have a vast knowledge. And I think some of you all must take up this challenge and write something. Because this industry needs people to put pen to paper. Why not take up this challenge and share your knowledge with the practitioners and industry peers? We need books and literature for local use. There aren't many, as Professor said, there are 4 or 5 books. And once when I was telling Dr. Ajit Dimel, chairman of Insurance Regulator Commission, I said, I'm launching a book, I want you to come as the chief guest. And he said, very good. There should be more people doing this. Because we don't have books in this local market, designed for the local market. So the more we produce, the stronger and more professional our industry will become. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this moment in my life. And thank you for giving life to insurance mastery. With all praise and glory to God Almighty, I commend this book to you with gratitude, with pride and humility. As I said earlier, this book is no longer mine. Finally, if you enjoyed the speeches, we had 3 speeches, tell everyone and buy a book. If you don't, just blame the microphone. Thank you.
Yep, Ainsley wouldn't let go of the mic, but I just told him to move aside. Only because we want him to pose for a photograph, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put our hands together and give him a round of applause. This is the official launch of Insurance Mastery by Ainsley J. Allis. A very proud man, a humble man, and a man of God. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we are going to present the book's autograph by the author himself. And that's why he's making his way over there. So we are going to start off with our chief guest, Mrs. Damayanti Fernando, Director General of Insurance Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka. I'm sure you can put your hands together and give a round of applause, everybody. An autographed book by the author himself. To our guest of honor, Professor S.K. Gamage, Dean of the Faculty of Business Studies and Finance at Vayamba University of Sri Lanka. She spent many hours dissecting the book as well. And of course, Mr. Nihal Senaratne, Chairman, Senaratne Insurance Brokers Private Limited and Chairman, Senaratne Global Services Private Limited, for whom you can blame if you don't like the book, as the author mentioned. And then we've got Dr. Jagat Alvis, former Executive Chairman of Selinco General Insurance Limited and currently Executive Director, Selinco Insurance PLC, provided a professional perspective of the book, Insurance Mastery, and of course, the author himself. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the distinguished dignitaries who graciously reviewed selected chapters of Insurance Mastery, offered invaluable insights and contributed excerpts, and now grace the book cover. These words enduring beyond their authors stand as a testament, their wisdom and generosity. So an autographed copy of the book for Mr. Deepal Surya Arachi, accredited master coach, mentor and former managing director of Aviva NDB Insurance and AIA Insurance PLC. Also to Mr. Mano Rajkaria, former chief financial officer, South Asia Gateway Terminals Limited. There he is. A round of applause for him too. Ms. Darini Fernando, Certified Cyber Insurance Specialist, Chartered Insurance Practitioner, Director, George Stewart Insurance Brokers Private Limited, and former COO and Principal Specified Officer, LOLC General Insurance. Mr. Chandana Divigalpiti, Attorney at Law, Chartered Insurer, Specified Officer, Sansa Life Insurance Company PLC, a former Specified Officer at CTC Eagle Insurance and Allianz Life Insurance Lanka Limited. Ms. Udara Dharmavimala, Chartered Insurer and former Head of Non-Motor Claim Allianz Insurance Lanka Limited. Ms. Prashanti Chandrasena, Head of Claims Quality Review Allianz Insurance Lanka Limited and former Manager Motor Claims SLIC and Head of Motor Claims Allianz Insurance Lanka Limited. Ms. Nilmini Gunatilaka, CEO PNA Insurance Brokers Private Limited and former Senior Manager Allianz Insurance Lanka Limited. Mrs. Senani Karnanayaka, Attorney at Law and Notary Public and former Senior Manager Legal and Compliance Allianz Insurance Lanka Limited. Let's put our hands together and give them a round of applause. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, a distinguished contributor who meticulously reviewed the manuscript and offered invaluable editorial refinements. Her discerning eyes and thoughtful edits have greatly enhanced the clarity and the strength of insurance mastery. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Ms. Renuka Jayaraj. Communication specialist with over 2 decades of experience in writing, editing, and strategic communication, a BA graduate from the University of Peradeniya and is an accredited practitioner of the Chartered Institute of Public Relations. In addition to the books presented, ladies and gentlemen, to our distinguished dignitaries, the author will also donate a book to the library of the Wayamba University. So can I have Ms. Priyanka Chandraratna, Director, Diploma in Risk Management and Insurance, Department of Insurance and Valuation, Wayamba University of Sri Lanka, to accept the donation. Let's put our hands together and give a round of applause. A book will also be presented to the IRCSL library. So I would like to invite the DG of the IRCSL, Mrs. Damayanti Fernando, to accept this book as well. Let's put our hands together and give a round of applause. A book will also be presented to the Library of Sri Lanka Insurance Institute. So can I request Mr. Udeni Kiridana, Chartered Insurer Practitioner and CEO of Sri Lanka Insurance Institute, to accept this donation as well. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, a book will also be donated to the Public Library, the Department of Facilities Management of the University of Moratuwa, where the author lectured on risk management insurance, National Archives, and where he currently works, Senaratna Insurance Brokers. So I'm sure you can put your hands together and give a round of applause, everybody. All right, so Mr. Ainsley, we need you over here together with our chief guest this evening. So our chief guest this evening, I'd like to invite you, Mrs. Damayanti Fernando, to launch the website of our book too. So this is a very special moment. That is official launch, everybody, of Insurance Mastery. And I'm sure, as the professor himself mentioned, this is going to help many, many individuals in your field, not just now, in the future as well. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the conclusion of this very special book launch, I'm sure all of you will join in with me to thank Mr. Ainsley Allis. He's been incredible, a very humble personality. And I know a lot of you have come here, not just for the book, but for him as well. So I'm sure you love him dearly because he's a humble man. There's nothing that you can't like about the man. And of course, as I mentioned, it's an opportunity for you as well to contribute to your industry too. So as I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know that you will also have the opportunity to purchase this book, which is at an introductory price today at 4,500. So be sure to get your hands on that. And while the man is over here, be sure to get it autographed as well. Yes. All right. Fantastic. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank each and every one of you for your gracious presence here this evening. Your presence here is testimony towards the love, the dedication, and the passion you have towards your own industry and the love you have for this man as well. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and have a wonderful evening ahead. All right, so we would like to invite all of you for refreshments outside. And just in case, dig into your pockets, take a look if you have your car key, because someone's car key is outside. So there's definitely no way for you to go because you can't start the car. It's a Nissan car key, it can't be mine.
ආ යාරට ඉතල දාස මොදලා ගන්න